alien Diplomat fired a human mechanic for helping a dragon woman. Then 12 ships blocked her home. The metallic clang of tools echoed through Bay 7 as Katie wiped grease from her hands, studying the damaged thruster assembly before her. The Galactic Coalition's diplomatic station orbited a rust-colored moon, and she'd spent the last 3 years keeping their fleet operational. Today's job was different, though. The ship before her bore scales, actual crystalline scales that shifted colors in the artificial light. "Please," the voice came soft, almost musical. "I know humans aren't supposed to work on draconian vessels, but you're the only mechanic who hasn't turned me away." Katie looked up at the woman standing in her bay's entrance. She was tall, nearly 7 feet, with iridescent scales covering her arms and neck. Her eyes, vertical slits of molten gold, held a desperate plea. The Draconians were new to the Coalition, barely accepted, and most species still treated them with suspicion. "What's your name?" Katie asked, already grabbing her advanced toolkit. "Zara Seth. My shuttle's life support is failing and I have a medical transport to make. 3 children need the antidote I'm carrying." Her scales rippled with anxiety, flashing darker shades. Katie nodded once. "Let's see what we're working with." She didn't notice Ambassador Velcour watching from the observation deck above. 2 hours later, Katie had traced the problem, a deliberate sabotage of the environmental regulators. Someone had wanted this shuttle to fail. She rewired the system, upgraded the backup circuits, and even reinforced the hull plating where microfractures suggested previous attempts at damage. "You went beyond repair," Zara Seth observed, her scales now shimmering with grateful blues and greens. "Why?" "Because someone tried to kill you," Katie said flatly, "and I don't let that slide." The draconian woman's eyes widened. "You could face consequences for helping me. Then I'll face them." The consequences came swiftly. Ambassador Velcour, a Threskin with 6 multi-jointed arms and a superiority complex, descended into the bay with station security in tow. "Mechanic Katie Chen," his translator device buzzed with barely contained fury. "You have violated Protocol 447C. No human personnel shall provide services to draconian vessels without proper authorization." She needed help. Katie stood her ground. "Medical emergency." "Irrelevant. You are hereby terminated. Your credentials are revoked. You have 6 hours to vacate this station." Katie felt her jaw tighten, but she wouldn't give him the satisfaction of seeing her anger. "Understood." As security escorted her out, Chris Martinez, her fellow mechanic and closest friend on the station, caught her arm in the corridor. His dark eyes flashed with anger. "This is bullshit, Katie. Velcour's been looking for an excuse to get rid of human workers since he arrived." "I know," she said quietly, "but I'd do it again." "So would I," Chris replied. Then louder, "So would any decent human being." Katie packed her sparse belongings in her quarters, her mind already working through her limited options. Earth was 3 months away by commercial transport. She'd need to find work on a way station. Maybe. Her comm unit chirped. Then again, and again. Messages flooded in from ships she'd repaired over the years, captains she'd helped, crews she'd saved from critical failures. Then her window darkened. Katie moved to the viewport and froze. A massive draconian cruiser had positioned itself directly outside the station's main docking arm, right where Ambassador Velcour's personal quarters were located. As she watched, another ship appeared. Then another. Within an hour, 12 ships surrounded the station. Draconian warships, human freighters, even 2 Belter mining rigs. They weren't blockading all traffic, just one specific section. The diplomatic wing. Her comm unit rang. Chris's face appeared, grinning wildly. "Katie, you need to see the station's main feed. Now." She switched channels. Ambassador Velcour stood before a crowd of reporters, his translator stuttering. This is unacceptable. These ships must move immediately." A draconian captain's voice boomed over the open channel. "We will move when the human mechanic Katie Chen is reinstated with a formal apology and promoted to Chief of Operations." A gruff human freighter captain added, "That woman saved my crew from decompression. She stays, or none of us move." "Katie fixed our mining laser after your certified tech said it was scrap," a belter voice crackled. "We'll sit here as long as it takes." Velcour's scales paled. "You cannot hold a coalition station hostage over one mechanic." "Watch us," came a chorus of responses. 3 hours later, Katie stood in the same bay where it had all started. Ambassador Velcour stood before her, each of his 6 arms trembling with barely suppressed rage. Behind him, the station commander, a weary-looking Centaurian, held a data pad. "Mechanic Chen," the commander began, "it has been brought to our attention that your termination was precipitous. We are reinstating your position, along with a promotion to Chief of Mechanical Operations and a formal commendation." Katie glanced at Velcour, whose translator remained conspicuously silent. "And the ambassador?" she asked. The commander's expression grew colder. "Ambassador Velcour will be issuing a personal apology and has been censured by the Coalition Ethics Board. We've also discovered he was aware of the sabotage to Zaraseth's shuttle and failed to report it." Velcour's translator finally crackled to life. "This is not over." "Yes, it is," Katie said quietly. "Because next time you try to use bureaucracy to cover up attempted murder, you won't just have 12 ships at your door. You'll have hundreds. That's what humanity does. We show up for people who can't fight back." Chris appeared at her side, tools in hand. "And we never come alone." As the ships dispersed over the following day, Katie returned to work. Zaraseth had made her medical delivery successfully, saving 3 young lives. The draconian woman sent a simple message. "Your species understands honor. This will be remembered." Katie smiled, setting down her wrench. Across the galaxy, humans had a reputation: stubborn, emotional, irrationally loyal. She'd been fired for living up to that reputation, but she'd also been saved by it. Because when you stood up for what was right, humanity stood up with you. Every single time.